live here. But I'm going to do like a little intro and then we'll get going, and everything is very candid and nothing is scripted, and that's TikTok. And we'll hopefully get some questions, but it'll be real quick because you got to go. We'll do it like under 20 minutes, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, let me just, 1 second here. Tadavarthi?
Yeah, you got it. Perfect.
Okay, wow. Testing, 1, 2, testing. Okay. See, we already got some people on. All right. Thank you for joining the Approach Podcast. My name is Adam Potash. I have a very, very, very special guest with me today, Anita Tadavarthi. I hopefully said that correctly. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
I have been following Anita for some time now, and she is incredible. She's amazing. What would tell me your background and what you're doing now on social media and for helping people get healthy.
Sure. So I have a master's in Chinese medicine. So what that means is acupuncture, acupressure, herbal medicine. So not to date myself, but I have been doing acupressure for almost 20 years. If you guys want a bio, I can give a bio. I had a chain of clinics on the West Coast. I'm originally from the East Coast, came back home. I have a clinic here in town. I also ran a free clinic overseas. I was on the Dr. Oz show. I've been on NBC 4 times.
Oh my gosh.
What else can I tell you? I've treated pro athletes, NFL players, NBA players, US Olympians. So I've taken the stand defending patients. So
I didn't even know the celebrity that is sitting here in front of me. Look at that. Well, that's incredible. I first got intrigued by your stuff on social media because I started doing acupuncture here locally. My wife actually started. I can't take all the credit. She started. She said, I'm feeling amazing. She told me I had to go. So I started going, which really intrigued me about kind of what you're doing and all that stuff. So tell me, like, what's the big secret about acupuncture? Because I love it.
Sure. So acupressure releases endorphins. It's the natural high you get when you exercise, as well as dopamine, serotonin, opioids. So it's all your happy chemicals. So I used to be a runner. I used to run 40 miles a week, and that high that you get after you run or you exercise is the high that you get when you have acupuncture. And
that's why you feel so good.
Yes. And I can have the grumpiest person come into clinic, and then they leave whistling, singing, happy, they sit there with the office manager or the receptionist talking for like 20 minutes after their appointment. They get the best nap and they relax, their anxiety lessens, all that.
Well, I didn't want to cheapen out the acupuncture part, but I think my favorite part is I can't touch my phone and I pass out for like 20 minutes at least. I can't move. I'm just there. I'm like, I might as well pass out, and I can't look at my phone. I'm in a quiet room, and I think it's the best thing ever. I don't know about all the needles. I just know that I'm passed out and feeling revived and refreshed after that.
Yeah, like I don't even ask people if they want the lights off. I turn the lights off, and the rooms are either warm or cold based on people's preference. And we put extra padding in the beds. Like they're out. Like I like watch them, and I'm like, I wish somebody did that for me, So they are completely out, and it's I think it's a little bit addictive because it feels so good afterwards.
It feels great. Now I don't know the difference between sometimes I go belly down, sometimes I go belly up. I don't know the difference. I guess I'm switching it up every time.
So there is it's like, how all the drops of water all over the world go into the same oceans? There's lots of different ways that you can do acupuncture. There is a Chinese style, Taiwanese style, Korean style, Japanese style, and so forth. So and there's an infinite number of combination of points because the surface area of the body is essentially anywhere on the body is a point. So it just depends on what the practitioner feels is the right fit based on what you tell her. That's all. So
okay.
She or he uses the right methodology at the time.
Yeah, and I was actually doing it several times a week. I don't know if you had followed me in the past couple of months, but I did an ultra marathon. So I've been some heavy training was going on. I was running 100 miles a week to train for this thing. So I was going to acupuncture several times a week, including like some massages. So I was like living and dying by this acupuncture. So what part of acupuncture do you feel relates with like weight loss and we were talking before we went live here talking about gut health and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's, I would say in acupuncture, two things actually. Number one is the obvious, right? Through acupuncture, if we can get the stomach and the colon and the spleen and so forth to work more efficiently, then you have more available resources to help you with weight loss. And then the other thing too is because acupuncture releases all your happy chemicals, let's face it, in our society, we are not sleeping enough because we're on our phones and we tend to be on our phones before we go to bed. And also we're just, a lot, I hate to say it, but a lot more anxiety, and maybe it's just a fast-paced life that we have. Because acupuncture can help people, just kind of get grounded and release that anxiety, then the cortisol levels go down, you have more available hormone, and when you have more available hormone, you have more available hormone for weight loss.
See, I'm trying to look at it from some crazy perspective, but that's so straightforward, right? Cortisol levels goes down, your body starts working well for you, weight loss happens. Got it.
So simple, right? A lot of people forget this, and there's been research, PubMed research on this. Like people who sleep less than 7 hours a day have a really difficult time losing weight. And it's because your cortisol levels are so high. All the hormone that you have in your body is going towards cortisol and trying to keep everything.
And your insulin levels are raised, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So and everybody watching right now live, this is super important stuff because everyone it's not that complicated. If our cortisol levels are high, nothing's gonna move. Okay, if we can bring those down.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like I always think it's a silly example, but you know how the bear goes to hibernate, and then the bear is ready to get back into the wilderness, and it's lean and it's looking for food, right? So if you're able, like I always think for myself, if I can just learn to rest and relax and sleep at least 9 hours a day, then my body is already in a better place as far as anxiety and stress, so it can operate better, and the food that I digest can be more efficiently used, regardless of what food I may eat,
Anita, I want you to tell us about where people can find you on social media. And I'm going to run real quick because my battery's going to die, so I'll be right back. But tell people where they can find you on social media.
Sure, absolutely. You can go to Empirical Grace Acu on TikTok. You can go to Empirical Grace on YouTube. And we have also Empirical Grace. We actually have 2 accounts on Instagram. So Empirical spelled E as in elephant, M as in Mary, P as in Peter, I as in India, R as in Robert, I as in India, C as in cat, A as in apple, L as in Larry. So Empirical Grace on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook.
And one of my favorite things about your social media is that you are always positive and supporting other people. And I think that's how I actually found you initially. I think you maybe did a duet or whatever it's called on social. Yeah. And I was like, wow, what a cool, positive person. I need to start following her.
I don't do the Socratic method. Like I'm very much, I'll do my best to find other great practitioners in the space, and together we can help. So I always try to think in a very positive way. You're right. I don't ever do negative duets. I always do positive duets.
And I think
we'll rise to the top.
Well, and there are a lot of people out there that get off, and their whole entire platform is making fun of other people or dismissing other people. And I just don't get it. How is that like your life of going on social media and talking negatively? Like I just don't get that piece.
I think it's a really low vibration. That's my take. I try to live my life in a very positive way. But one other thing I want to tell you, Adam, I know this. The reason why I follow you and I listen to your recommendations is because I have 2 mentors that are social media, and one is a tremendous fan of intermittent fasting. She's been on me for 15 years to do it. I do 12 and 12, but check this out. She does almost 4 and 20. she eats in a 4-hour
Yeah.
window.
So she does 24, right? And so there's 100 different ways to do intermittent fasting. That's one of them. And I always like tell people, like, if that's what's working for you, great, stick with it. For my coaching purposes and for the consistency of having people go from 0 to intermittent fasting, we do the 16-8 method because it's the easiest way to get involved with it and without feeling like you're want to bite off your arm kind of thing.
And I do agree. The times that I've done 16-8, I get better results than 12 and 12.
Yeah.
And my mentor is retired. She only has a few clients such as myself who, she watches over. But they pretty much eat, I think, pretty much 1 to 5 every day. Okay,
yeah. So again, it is a method and it's very effective if that's your thing. And I'm not gonna knock it as we were just talking about earlier. It's just for my coaching purposes, and I've been doing this for 15 years myself. The consistency is key, especially again, people who need to lose 30, 50, 70 pounds. Like we need to start, just with one foot in front of the other. And it seems to be the easiest way to get going.
Right, and I try to educate this all the time. I'd rather people do what's right for them and what fits into their life, their cadence, their routine, than not doing it at all.
Right.
If they're eating at 10 o'clock at night and then eating at 6, at least if I can shift it to 9 and 9, that's a win.
Right.
And then maybe in a couple of months they shift it to noon to 8. I got to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere. What's that saying? The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, right?
Yeah.
So and that's what we're all about here. I mean, we don't want to have people feel restrictive or deprived or in fact put people in these diet boxes, I call them, where you can only eat this and you can't do that, and that's not a win in the long term. So
and also too, we just, you and me, we just want the best for people.
Yeah.
So it's we're not saying this is the only method or the best method. We're saying this is a choice that can have great results. So give it a chance, and you might really love it. It may really work. I know when I practice intermittent fasting consistently, I noticed a pattern. My brain just works so much better.
There's key points that we always kind of look out for, and that's more focus, better energy, things like that. So endurance, all these things that people especially here maybe live on TikTok right now can testify to, is that it's the constant reminder, and we hear this every day of these same few key points.
And my patients who do intermittent fasting, they have so much energy. You would think because you are curtailing the window of eating that you would be hungrier, but no, it's because the body is working more efficiently. And actually when I treat, so there's certain days that I'm in the office, there's certain days I'm in clinic. When I treat, I've learned to fast, and it always surprises me. I could see 30, 40 patients in a day on my feet running different rooms and stuff, but as long as I'm hydrated, it's amazing that I'm not hungry and how clear I can think through treatment plans. It's always, it just seems like a dichotomy, but
Well, think about it this way, and this might enlighten you a little bit. This comes from the hunter-gatherer days, right? Thousands and thousands of years ago. So they needed to fast in order to be fully prepared to hunt for their food, and so their metabolism boosts up when they start intermittent fasting. They had to go days and days. Maybe they didn't find any food around, and so that's where this all stems from.
Yeah, which makes sense. Which goes back to my bear theory as well.
It all makes sense. So back to the acupuncture, because I'm so intrigued by this. So if someone hasn't done it before, what do you recommend? Is there such thing as a bad acupuncture? I'm assuming there are, just like bad doctors. So what would you recommend for someone who might want to add this piece to their health journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple of things. Unfortunately, a lot of people have shared some terrible stories that have happened to them, because I've done a few of these podcasts. And simple thing that I would recommend is 2 things. One, go to Google. Google is pretty decent. They have decent reviews on folks, and you can have a gauge, and you can think sometimes there's scammers on Google, but you'll know when someone has more than not good comments. The other thing is research the person, go to the medical board, and make sure they have a valid license. Because there have been some people who say they're an acupuncturist without the schooling and are doing it, right? Unfortunately, some folks have told me that. So 2 things, just read their Google reviews and then punch their name into the local medical board and see that they have a valid license and that there's been no board complaints against them. And then when you go into the appointment, if you're still not sure, look for their license. It has to be in the waiting room. It has to be displayed. And also before they put the first needle in you, just ask them how many patients have they treated. And if you're at all—
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Walk away. It's your right, and you can do that. Those are simple things that are—
You don't want someone first day on the job, right?
Most schools and the regulation on acupuncturists in America have really heightened. So most folks have, at least a couple hundred people underneath their belt. I will tell you, I've treated 65,000 folks in my life.
What? Can you 65,000?
Rough, give or take.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I know I got a real swag and finesse with it after 10,000, but that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like an expert in the field is someone who does 10,000.
The 10,000 hour rule, right? It goes back to that, yeah.
So if you really but I was there too. There was there's always a patient number 1. So
yeah.
I would just those basic things to protect you, to help you along the way.
And I think for us, I think you have to connect with your acupuncturist.
100%.
The woman that we have started to see a few months back. She's very young. I think she might be 30 years old, but she's very sweet. We've connected with her. We're kind of becoming family. Like we started following each other on social media, and so we're in that sense we're I guess feel very safe too. So.
Absolutely, and they've done research on this. Like if you like your practitioner, the effects of your treatment is like astronomically higher.
Yeah.
Like even if your practitioner, it's really up to you. Like even if your practitioner touches you on the shoulder and wishes you goodbye, that result, if you like them, the result of your treatment is a lot higher. So
for sure.
And this applies to anybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an acupuncturist or your intermittent fasting coach. It could be your surgeon. It could be your doctor. If you don't resonate with your healthcare practitioner in any form or fashion, find someone else. There's plenty. Find someone else that works for you. Mm-hmm.
Back to the school, just real quick, because maybe people are going to go now and look for those certifications or licenses. Is there a particular school that you like to see, or that is one better than the other? Like I went to culinary school and I went to Johnson & Wales, super prestigious school, right? And great. It wasn't like Joe Schmo's barbecue cookery and yeah. So is there a particular school that you like to see hanging on somebody's door?
Yeah. In general, the hardest states to get licensed and practice is Washington State, Oregon, California, Arizona, and Florida.
Okay.
So if you're in those states, generally, I would say just make sure they have a valid license. But if you're not in those states, then look for someone who went to schooling in those states, because they have a rigor that's so much higher.
They got it down pat, yeah.
Yeah. And we have a story. There's a client that I had. She went to someone else before me, but that person is 2 hours away. And then I asked, where did that person graduate? And the client pulled up on her phone that she graduated from a school, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, nearby. And I go, if she's that good, there's a backstory to it. And then my patient dug a little further, and she ended up graduating from school in Arizona. And I was like, there it is.
Got it.
Again, Washington State, Oregon, California, Arizona, and Florida, either regulations, license, or schooling, if they have that, they tend to be the cream of the crop, because those schools are really rigorous.
Love it. I think this is such great advice. I know we could talk for hours. I think you're amazing. What a special person. And I know you have to go very soon, but I want to thank you so much for taking the time and being on here with me. I think it's very special for all our viewers right now on TikTok. And you can say again where they can find you and maybe follow you on TikTok and social media.
Sure, just Empirical Grace. So yeah, EMPIRICAL Grace. My name, Anita, means grace in Sanskrit.
That's
so
my daughter's middle name too, Ava Grace.
Yeah.
So we knew we were connected somehow. I am looking forward to hopefully doing this again very soon.
Let's do it.
And we'll maybe chat a little later off the mic. But thank you so much for being on here with me and taking the time.
My pleasure. And keep up. Like, we're here to support you guys, and keep up the good work.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching on TikTok, and thank you for listening at home. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. You can check out any information at www.adampotash.com. And this is The Approach Podcast. Thank you guys so much, and thank you again, Anita.
Bye.
All right. Let me pause that. All right. I will end this.